Hello, everybody. I'm Gary. Thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate it. So, I was texting Steve from All the World's a Stage last week, and we were just chit chatting. And he said, "You know what I would really like is if more people in the vinyl community would make videos and say nice things about me." So, he was wondering how he could do that. And I said, well, you could always have a contest, offer a nice prize. So here we are. We've got a contest for Steve from All the World's a Stage. And of course, he's got some rules to go with it. He's got a great prize. He's got over 250 subscribers. I'm not sure where he is right now. I'm sure it'll go way up. He wants us to say some nice things. First, Steve wears glasses. His glasses look nice. And his last name, which obviously he doesn't put on there, but I know his last name. I don't know. I think it's Norwegian. I tried to translate it roughly. It's something about a man trapped inside a woman's body, or I don't know. It's nice. It's a really nice name. So anyway, he talked about his first concert, which I think was Bill Haley and the Comets with the Big Bopper opening. And he just wants us to talk a bit about our first concert. So I'm also kind of old as shit. My first concert was in 1981. And he wants us to show this. It was Ted Nugent. You can only see part of that because it was ripped, and it was $8.50. Ted Nugent at the Dayton Hara Arena, which is now closed. They used to have a lot of concerts back there in the 80s. That was my first concert. At that time, actually, I think the only albums I had by Ted Nugent was State of Shock and Screen Dream. This is still one of my favorite Ted Nugent albums, actually. So Ted at that time was already, it's not like that would have been my first choice for my first concert. But at that time, I lived in a small town, and, it's not like I really knew how to get concert tickets or anything. I mean, at that time, I was still kind of stupid about the whole thing. And it was a last minute deal where a group of guys, one of them pulled out, hey, he can't go. So they told me at the last minute. And I had to, remember I called my dad at work and asked him, hey, is it okay if I go to this concert? He's like, oh, I guess. He goes, are they going to be drinking beer there? And I said, no. Then I had to get a hold of I worked at a grocery store at the time, had to get a hold of my boss, had to clear that because somebody else, I was scheduled to work that night. I had to change with somebody, so they worked for me, which meant I had to work on a Saturday night for him, which sucked, but still, like I said, it wasn't my first choice, but obviously, I knew Ted Nugent. Everybody in the Midwest knows Ted Nugent. He was already a little bit out of favor. It's not like he was the hot thing, at that point. I did have a recording of his latest album at that time that he was touring off of, which is a piece of shit album called Intensities in 10 Cities. It's a live album that he did of original songs and some remakes. He'd record a song here and there. It's a horrible album. Even at that time, I knew it sucked. He did a few songs off of that one. The guys I went with, they were all the grade ahead of me. One guy named Jeff was a friend of mine, a pretty good friend. So, that's the reason I got offered the ticket to buy the ticket. I remember I wore a stupid shirt that had a collar for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking, almost like a dress looking kind of shirt. And they were really giving me a lot of crap saying, why are you wearing that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's what I had on. Anyway, the concert itself, this is before Ted was all political and, he didn't talk about hunting all the time and stuff. He wasn't near as I mean, he was offensive, and the way he talks about women and stuff, but not politically offensive. He never mentioned anything like that. It was just rock and roll and women and all that kind of stuff. Uh, it was fun. The opening band, I think, was a band called Mama's Boys or something like that. I didn't really care about them. I mean, it was fun just to hear it, but I just remember, because it was my first concert, being so excited. It was so loud. I remember that, feeling the bass just thumping into my chest and everything. And God, it was just, I was literally jumping up and down, and people behind me were throwing things at my head because I was jumping up and down in their way. But I was just very excited. He put on a good show. Like I said, I didn't know all the songs, but I knew, it's not like I don't know Cat Scratch Fever and stuff like that. He did Great White Buffalo. One of my favorite moments of the show, always one of my favorite moments of seeing Ted Nugent, is when he does Stranglehold. It would have been so much better if he still had Derek St. Holmes with him at that point. But, I did get to see Derek St. Holmes with him later, way, 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 way down the road. But he wasn't with him then, so that would have been a lot better. A lot of loud guitar stuff. I remember he swang from a rope back and forth on the back of the stage during the encore. He had on like a loincloth, Tarzan looking thing. It was kind of crazy. But it was fun. I thought it was fantastic. I got me a tour shirt. I used to wear it every week. At least, one day out of the week I would wear it to school, because that's what you did. I thought it was really an amazing show. I thought it was super fantastic until the next year when I saw Van Halen in concert. And I'm like, wow, that just blew that Ted Nugent show away. But anyway, that was my concert. I think I listed everything that he said in there. All kidding aside, Steve is a great friend of mine. I like Steve a lot. He's got a hell of a lot of musical knowledge. He's been to shows I only wish I could have saw. I've seen a lot of concerts, but he's seen a lot of bands I never got to see. I take his advice on music. I love his channel. I'm so glad that he's back. He was out of the vinyl community and he's back. So this is my contest entry. Make sure you sub All the World's a Stage if you haven't already. Let's boost up those numbers of those subscribers, get him way up there. I'm just happy that he's back, and go check him out. I'm Gary. This is Physical Format Rock and Roll. Till the next time, my friends, I will see you down the road.